Hey there, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us in UpNorthLive Unscripted on this Wednesday evening. I am Maya Ingle, and gosh, it's just been a really nice day. Not only weather-wise, but also it's been nice that our chief meteorologist, Joe Charlevoix, is back with us after taking a few days off. Welcome back, Joe.
Thanks. How are you? Good?
Good. Yeah, we, of course, love meteorologist Trevor Robideau, but we did miss you here in Unscripted.
I watched Trevor on Monday. I saw him doing the weather, so he did a nice job.
He does a good job, yeah.
Yeah, he's a good guy, too. Talking about weather, we've had 3 nice days, Maya, so far this week, but we are going to start practicing for fall this weekend, like in a pretty big way. We're going to get showers and 50s for highs. So, get ready for that. But the thing is, you might be wondering, oh, gosh, here comes fall, a little bit of it, but then next week we're going to get warm right back up again. So just for a couple days.
Yeah. So like you said, just a practice.
That's
just
right.
A test run.
That's right. And we'll have more on that kind of when that cooler weather gets here and when we get some rain too, coming up a little later.
Sounds good. Thank you, Joe. Let's start off with our question of the day today. And that is, should schools have a designated spot with signage for bus stops? As of right now, 66% of voters say yes, 34% say no. As always, you can scan that QR code on your screen right now to vote. And the reason why this is our question of the day is because we are continuing to follow a story that we first brought you yesterday, a very tragic story. Of course, yesterday was the first day of school for many students across northern Michigan. And we are looking into the investigation of an 8-year-old boy who was hit and killed by a car on Tuesday in Grand Traverse County. Now, the sheriff's office has not provided any new details about exactly what happened. However, neighbors in the area, they have told us that the boy was waiting at a school bus stop. So I will pull up our question of the day a little later, but let's start off with this top story. So our Allie Baxter, she spoke with one parent who organized safety efforts this morning to make sure kids got on the bus safely. And here is her story.
The sun is just peeking over the trees when dozens of kids who live here in Kings Court make their way to the school bus stop.
Kids don't have that sense of danger. They don't know what's around them.
Tiffany Osborne is one of many parents in the neighborhood. She says mornings during the school year are tough because it's a lot of commotion at the same time.
The main exits are right where the bus stops are. So we have all of the work traffic coming through.
Which is what prompted her in May to ask Sun Communities, the owner of Kings Court, for an official bus stop or supplies for a crossing guard.
Because there were some close calls last year and we didn't get a response at all. It wasn't a negative or positive, it was just we didn't hear anything back. And then school got out, so it was out of everybody's mind, and then, first day of school starts back up and now it's super fresh again.
Wednesday morning, parents waited in cars and held their children close at the school bus pickup spot. As a few feet away, a memorial for the 8-year-old boy killed the day before grows. What would you like to see from Sun Communities in supporting you guys that live here?
I would like to see, most of all, just a bus stop, an actual bus stop. I know that, there's only so much that they can do, but that small thing could make a huge difference for the future. There's not really any sidewalks or, anything like that.
There's signs around Kings Court showing kids are at play, but none point to this area as being a bus stop.
This is a recipe for disaster, having so many kids all in one spot, because there's no possible way to keep them all in one spot if there isn't a spot that they know to stand at.
Which is why Wednesday morning neighbors volunteered to act as crossing guards at the 2 bus stops in the neighborhood. A school resource officer from Traverse City area public schools also came to the stop Wednesday to check on families.
Everybody was pretty happy to have somebody out there. Even though a lot of the parents were already out there, they were happy to see the community response was real and there actually will be people willing to help stand out there.
Willing to stand to make sure everyone's aware of their surroundings.
Don't stay stuck in your own little world in the mornings, even though a lot of the time the morning is rushed. Most people aren't morning people, but there's a lot of other lives involved.
In Grand Traverse County, Allie Baxter, UpNorthLive News.
And let's bring in Allie now live from our newsroom to talk a little bit more about this. Hi, Allie.
Hi, Maya. How are you?
I'm okay. The story is so tragic. And I think one of the things that really made my stomach drop was at the very beginning, you heard that parent say, last year we had a lot of close calls and then nothing happened. And then here they are on the very first day of school, and the most tragic thing that could happen did happen. So, do you know, will some communities now consider putting a bus stop or anything at Kingsport?
That's actually one of the questions that we tried to answer today, Maya, not just for our story, but in advocating for these parents as well, these neighbors in the community who want to know, hey, is something going to be done? And it's really easy to look at Kings Court in general and the people in the office and say, okay, are you going to do anything? But Kings Court is owned by Sun Communities.
Mhm.
So it really goes up a lot higher than that as far as hey, can we do this or this in our neighborhood? It kind of goes up this corporate chain of things. We did reach out to them today in multiple different ways, and we didn't hear back from anyone.
And as far as the driver who did hit this boy, I know that he stopped. We ran a story yesterday that he did stop and he tried to perform CPR on the boy. Do we know if he's going to be facing any charges or any updates on that?
We don't know that at this time, and it is something, we are looking to find out and confirm really what happened from at least the sheriff's office investigation. We have spoken to neighbors who have given a narrative of what happened. And so far, they have shared with us this driver. He was not driving through the neighborhood at the time. It seems that he was parked and just didn't see the little boy potentially maybe sitting behind his truck. So that's what we have gathered from a lot of neighbors so far, but we haven't gotten that information confirmed from the sheriff's office yet. But we also confirmed with the neighbors that this little boy was waiting at the bus stop to be able to go to school. And there's so many different things that make this story so tragic, but obviously very difficult, this being on the very first day back to school.
And of course, like your story said and showed, the community in that neighborhood really came out and they were standing by their kids to make sure they did get on the bus safe. They did have a volunteer crosswalk guard. Is this something that you think they will continue moving forward until a actual change comes to King's Court?
Yes, the mother that I spoke with, Tiffany, she actually has a sign-up sheet, and so she's making sure everything stays organized for that. Because there's some parents and neighbors who say, "Hey, I can maybe do, only Monday, Wednesday, Friday because these are the days that I work." Because not only do the kids get picked up by the bus, they're also getting dropped off by the bus in the afternoon time. So there's so many different shifts, but she says so many people have stepped up to make sure that there is always a crossing guard there. Also, a detail that I wasn't able to include in the story just for time purposes. Elmer's is donating some of that crossing guard equipment so that they are able to have it. They wanted actually like one of those official stop signs. I think what we saw today was kind of a reflective kind of sign, and
Mhm.
they wanted an actual like, hey, stop for kids crossing. And Elmer's is donating that, and they've ordered one so that the families in Kings Court can have that.
And of course, this is impacting the family of the boy so much, but also all of the fellow students at his school. Do you know, is his school doing anything to kind of support all of these grieving students and faculty?
Yes. So we know just from what TCAPS has released that he went to Traverse Heights Elementary School, and they were very quick to release something to families saying that, hey, when your kids come here tomorrow, we are going to support them as best as we can. We are going to have, they had mental health professionals on staff today to talk to kids. They've also asked parents of those kids, like, hey, ask your child how they're doing. If there's any of these signs of just showing any kind of stress, like let us know because we want to step up and help and get them the help that they need. Maybe if they don't understand what's going on. They also had the Traverse City Area Public Schools resource officer out there as well today. So he actually came to a couple of the bus stops just to make sure the kids were doing okay, make sure the families are doing okay as well.
Is there anything else, Allie, that you want to mention about your story that we haven't talked about yet?
I think just an important thing to emphasize is just how amazing this Kings Court community is and stepping up. we obviously very much focused on the safety aspect today, but another thing that our mom Tiffany is doing is she also started a meal train as well for the family. So that is something that people, neighbors in the community have also stepped up to do because they want to support this family. And we do have a link for the GoFundMe to support the family on our website too, if that's something that anyone's interested in supporting them.
All right, good to know, Allie. Thanks so much for coming on Unscripted today.
Thank you, Maya.
And from one tragic story to another, I'm sure a lot of you folks had heard about the tragedy that happened at a Georgia high school today. 4 people were killed, 9 more taken to hospitals for injuries after that school shooting. CNN reports that 2 of those killed were students and 2 were teachers. And the Georgia Bureau of Investigation says the suspect is a 14-year-old, and he was a student at the school, and he is now in custody. So that tragedy is reminding many who train school officials how important it is to have proper safety and security measures in place at school. So in Michigan, there's actually a law for K through 12 schools that they have to have an emergency operations plan, and guidance for those plans was last published 10 years ago, but now it is getting an update. So here is Courtney Bennett with that story.
And active shooter protocols get top billing in that regard. But the emergency operations plans resources that we put forward really cover the depth and breadth of situations that could occur in a K-12 school.
Kimberly Root is a manager at the Office of School Safety for the state. This update to the resources was put together by teachers, mental health professionals, and even law enforcement personnel. Root says it's meant to help school administrators when it comes to updating their emergency operations plan.
We know that there's not one thing that guarantees school safety. We know it's a series of things that schools and law enforcement and emergency personnel participate in together to make the school setting as safe as possible.
Since 2020, school districts have been required by law to develop or review their EOP. But they are not required to submit a plan. An EOP spells out the ways a district should handle a threat and who needs to do what in that situation.
It's just a plan for them. I think it's paramount that people start taking these things seriously.
Tom Meisberg is the president of Critical Incident Management. He goes to schools and businesses and trains people on crisis response. He looks at every school's EOP and says it needs to be used and not just sit on a shelf somewhere.
A principal knows what their role is to make sure everybody's safe there and what the superintendent needs to do to oversee the event and how to work seamlessly with the responders. If there's that clash, then we lose time for response and being able to mitigate the incident.
It's taken the state 10 years to provide updated resources, and over that time, the state has seen 2 school shootings. Is that 10 years too long?
Yes, it really is. It's kind of like what happened in between here. You know, we're leaving everybody high and dry.
That was Courtney Bennett reporting, and schools are required to update their EOPs every 2 years. We are going to take a quick break here in UpNorthLive Unscripted, but we'll be back in just a couple minutes. We'll check back in with our chief meteorologist, Joe Charlevoix, who, as he said earlier, sounds like we have a little practice fall coming our way. So we'll have much more on that after the break. It's been another nice and sunny day across northern Michigan, but it sounds like that could change pretty soon. So, for more on that, let's bring in our chief meteorologist, Joe Charlevoix. And Joe, you said we have a practice fall coming up. So, what do you think? How cold is it going to get?
Well, I think Saturday, if you're out and about, you'll look at some rain or showers at least in 50s, probably low and mid 50s in spots. So that's kind of like October weather, coming in. But it won't last. So we'll get right back to summer next week, it appears, Maya. Let's take a look at, I want to show you our drone video we took earlier today. This is over Elk Lake. And that is, where the video was taken, a drone or Dan operator said it was at the Whitewater Township Park in Grand Traverse County, out jet skiing. Doesn't that look fun?
It looks so fun.
Day off, why not? Beautiful view there. And then, it was one of those nice late summer days. There was the view along the shoreline there of Elk Lake. And not a lot of color in the trees yet. I imagine a month or so from now, that'll look quite a bit different. Our three big things in weather coming up here around northern Michigan, an abrupt end to the warmth. We'll get one more day in tomorrow with 70s and 80s tomorrow, but then a cold front will plow through here tomorrow night. It's going to bring some rain too, and that'll set up a taste of autumn Friday through the weekend. Showers, we're looking at 50s for highs. The coolest day will be Saturday, and then 60s on Sunday, but it's not going to linger. As we mentioned, it'll be sunny and warmer next week. Where's our front? Right there, up across North Dakota and Minnesota tonight. That's the leading edge of the cooler air, and you can see that. I will look up into northern and central Canada. These are the current temperatures. Traverse City is still 82, but then you get up north of Winnipeg, it's in the 40s and 50s this afternoon. And that's kind of the epicenter of where this cool air is coming from. So you see it in the blue up there. Watch what this does. This is right now by the weekend. Watch how this just plops down right over us, right there. And that Saturday afternoon, we will be the coolest part of the entire country, except maybe parts of Alaska, right here in Michigan, before that kind of departs as we head into Sunday. So what that implies for temperatures, well, there's tomorrow, 70s and 80s still. And then here comes the front, dropping down. And then there we are on Friday, highs in the mid to upper 50s. And then as we get into Saturday, that's the cool day. We're looking at a lot of 50s in the green there, low and mid 50s for much of northern Michigan, and then 60s making a return on Sunday. As far as any rain, there's nothing nearby right now. There's our satellite radar picture. Nothing here. We will see some coming in, though. Quiet tonight, but tomorrow there's mid to late morning. And then our area starting mid-afternoon into the evening is when this front comes in. It'll turn our wind out of the north. There's our showers, maybe a crack of thunder tomorrow evening, and the showers will hang around into the day on Friday. So that's what we're looking at for the weekend. We'll dodge some showers Friday, highs 50s to around 60, 50s on Saturday. Sunday, 59 to 65, maybe a shower hanging on. But then next week, we're back to dry weather. And by Tuesday, Wednesday, a week from now, it'll be just like today once again. So we'll kind of get rid of the showers early next week and back to some pretty pleasant weather.
Something to look forward to during those colder days. Thanks so much, Joe, for that. And we are going to take another quick commercial break, but we'll check in with our sports director, Harrison Beebe, in just a few minutes. Stick with us. welcome back to Unscripted at 6:30. It is that time of the night where we check in with sports director Harrison Beebe. Harrison, where are you at tonight?
We are waiting for volleyball to start here at Traverse City Central High School. I'm going to keep the camera on this side. The lighting's a little better, but proof that there is volleyball warm-ups going on right behind me. TC Central and Cadillac should be a pretty good one in the Big North Conference here. Get started in about 13 minutes. So, yep, looking for you. The Trojans have won the NC the last 2 years. With new head coach Emily Wilbur, although she's out sick tonight, so she won't be coaching the girls. I actually went to elementary school with Emily back in the day, so her and I go way back. I played on her co-ed volleyball team with her back in the late 90s at Eastern Elementary in Traverse City. So I've trusted her volleyball expertise for a very long time, and it's paying off for the Trojans. Winners of 2 straight Big North Conference titles, and Cadillac's been kind of one of those bar setters for the conference. So excited to see how this matchup shakes out to start the new season off here.
And you'll have highlights of that game tonight at 11. What else can people expect to see from you tonight?
Well, at 6 we talked about the Spartans and their big road trip to Maryland coming up this weekend to start Big Ten play. I always confuse the Big North with the Big Ten a lot, so I didn't want to do that in this case. And MSU's got Maryland. They're an 8.5-point underdog, so don't know how good that's going to go. But hey, maybe the green and white will have some surprises for us in store when they step on the field in a few days down there at 3:30 on Saturday, home of Maryland. Well, I'm still getting used to Maryland being in the Big Ten, and now we have to get used to all those West Coast schools being in the Big Ten. Yeah, it just keeps getting more and more confusing. But yes, we know Maryland for sure is in the Big Ten. I'm pretty sure USC, UCLA, Washington, and Oregon are as well.
Just give it another 5 or 10 years and you'll be used to all the new teams.
I think so. I think that's how it goes. But yeah, it should be a good football week all around with Michigan and Texas, Michigan State and Maryland, and of course the Lions opening up on Sunday. Maya, on a scale of 1 to 10, you're going to that game. How excited are you?
At least a 12. At least.
Okay. Yeah, well, that's about the 112 is what we expect the audio level to be at Ford Field on Sunday night for sure. So
I think we're going to break some records again.
You should, or at least regular season records. It might be tough to get the playoff records, but
I think we could do it. All right, thanks, Harrison. We'll see you tonight on Sports at 11. We're going to take another break here on Up North Live Unscripted, but we will be back in just a few minutes. Stay with us. Our question of the day today is, should schools have a designated spot with signage for bus stops? 66% of people say yes, 34% say no. We posted this question on our Up North Live Facebook page, and we have about 30 comments. I'll read a couple of them if I have time. So Lisa says, as a previous bus driver, having designated spots may be hard as children move away/age out of needing the bus. People would blow red lights even if there were certain spots designated. It is still a safety issue. If you haven't voted yet, you can scan that QR code on your screen right now. You can also go to our Facebook page and you can leave a comment with your thoughts on this post. But that'll do it for tonight on Up North Live Unscripted. Thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. And we hope to see you back here tonight on Up North Live News at 11. Take care, everyone.